So, welcome to Silverstone International Circuit for the British Grand Prix of FVC2 for the first season, the inaugural season. So, 18 minutes on the clock, we've lost 15 of those already from this intro, and who will be the first one out of the pit lane? Yep, okay, cool. There's movement in the Red Bull garage. That's a Red Bull out, I think. That can only be... Oh, yeah, that's Broughton. But hang on, no, there's a AlphaTauri. Is that Eldorado? It is Eldorado. First one out of the pits, once again, reclaiming his lost streak from Imola. Yes, yeah, Imola. Right. AlphaTauri driver out on track for the first time this session. And he's looped it. Just, careful, you don't go backwards too long, you don't get disqualified. Who is leading the train now? I think it's Williams Reserve, the Apex Miata. Of course, seeing the number 66 on that Williams is a bit bittersweet, considering it was the number 66 Aston Martin that beat me in this car. A bit sloppy. I forgot to memorise half the corner names, so I know Cox, I think I know Maggots Beckett's. There's a village somewhere. First car through Cops. Keeps it in a straight line, as does the Red Bull behind. Right, so, well, there's Silverstone big circuit, so it won't be too tight. But we've got a lot of bluey greeny cars. Yeah, the only exceptions to that being Agent Dino and Harrison M from McLaren and Haas, respectively. Oh, slowing down. Let Jay Broughton pass. So, last corner now from Jay Broughton to start the final lap of the session. Sorry, first lap of the session. Oh dear, this is going to go well. Seeing I can't even commentate correctly. So, turn 1. Just a nice, gentle turn in. Don't want to overload the rear tyres laterally. That's how you spin. Looking like a pretty good run so far. I don't want to curse things too early, though. AlphaTauri to the inside, I believe that will be Fresh. Yes, it is. So, the big letterbox opening in the rear of that car. Yeah, you may recognise this track. It is pretty popular. Purple Sector 1, that is to be expected this early in the session from the first car. Fresh is still crawling, just letting a lot of people by. We'll want to let a few more pass before Cops, I should think. And that's Apex in the background actually catching up to Jay Broughton here. Very aggressive run through Cops for both of them. Apex out very wide in the background. It's looking like a decent run. Not a lot about it. Now, of course, once Jay Broughton crosses the line, we've got Apex immediately after, and I think that will be a very interesting thing to watch. Oh! Agent Dino, first car out of the session in an accident. I will get around to these questions in a second. We'll just get through this start chaos first. So, Broughton crosses the line to do a 28.0. The Apex Miata immediately pits it on the medium with a 27.8. Jay Broughton spins it through turn 1, just like Agent Dino has done to your left there as the car despawns. Bryce Verde, 29.7 for Alpine on the soft. Lots of laps coming in. Eldorado 21.9, followed by Pixels 28.1. Aliens was next with a 28.3. Then Saskia Mel with a 31.9. Hayden comes over with a 28.8 on the mediums. So, the start carnage aside, if I could only play one racing game, I'd probably say F1 2021. Well, out of all the current ones that were released, because it is quite good fun and there's a decently set up around it. But, you know, it's personal preference. D numbers for Mercedes, 27.4 on the soft, 4/10 on the Apex Miata. Flags in Sector 2, someone's going slowly, that's the Apex Miata. Watch out, because you've got Saskia Mole behind, can't be getting in incidents this early. Sector 2, there is a slow-moving FV Pixels back there. Currently residing in P5. Oh, Sir Slamal has gone out there. There are no cars close to that I can pick up, I don't think. Who have we got? Who have we got? I think there's an Alpine coming. Nope. Oh yes, Rise Verde. I don't think we're going to get there in time though to see. But it'll be on the left, yeah, just despawns as we get to him. But I just assume he's caught the grass on the inside through turn 2. And it's just snatched the car away from him. So, your current top 3 as it stands are D numbers from Mercedes, followed by Rise Verde and A Williams, both for Alpine here. Very, very good showing from the Alpine pair. I mean, A Williams, only a reserve, but showed exquisite pace in Austria. There's a lot of candidates that could be up for the win here today. And I think we're just going to see some great, great racing. And I'm probably going to lose my voice in the race. But, you know, as we do. Cops. Oh, right. Oh, no way. Williams. Into the barrier at Cops. Very, very unfortunate for the Alpine driver. There may have been a commentator's curse involved there. Very unfortunate accident as his teammate comes back into the pit lane. That is the broken Alpine as we ride on board with MC Party. Yeah, I scared myself. I was looking at Discord to work out if anything had gone down, and I was like, wait, that's an Alpine off. And then jumped to Rise, but no, it was A Williams. And I've just realised 6 milliseconds separated that pair. And in fact, I have just seen, I think FE Pixels going back out of the pit lane. More activity now as we get to the middle runs of the session. The Apex Miata will be going back out on the soft, looking to better his time. As he said, he wanted to challenge for pole today. So, on board with the Aston Martin driver of FV Pixels. Of course, Aston Martin winning the Season 4 Constructors' Championship by 57 points to the next best of Williams. 255 points, I believe, was the total tally. Of course, they'll be looking to continue that. You know, want to get Aston technically a third FVC Championship, of course. They won as Racing Point in Season 3 last year. It's not, you know, they can do it, but there's a lot that needs to happen to allow that. But they have been pretty consistently in the points. Of course, FE Pixels, who are on board with now, very unfortunate to lose some wins in the fashion that he has. Wait, was Season 3... Oh, I'm thinking the Summer Series then. My mistake. The Aston Martin pair of Pixels and Saskia Mole, side by side down one of the straights. I'm not sure why. I believe there may be attempted towage. Or, yeah, I think Sass is trying to take a cheeky tow from Pixels. Let's see how this one plays out. Of course, last time Aston Martin tried the tow here in qualifying, it ended with a collision, so let's find out. Of course, they have got the numbers just coming out of the pit lane in front of them, so they'll have to watch for that. But that car looks to be up the road enough to not have an effect. Wait, was Summer... Oh yeah, of course, I got the trophy for the Summer Series. Which one did Racing Point win? I swear Racing Point have won something. Oh, well, that must be Drivers. Okay, yeah, that was Drivers. Someone won for the Drivers then. That was a Racing Point, that's what's got me confused. Anyway, I have not been paying attention to the sector times, but he has cleared the numbers. Yellow flags down what I believe is the Hangar Straight. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Cops, nice and hooked up. The Aston Martin can run a bit wider there than previously thought. Decent run from Meg's Beck's able to get too wide onto the grass, although you can spin it to the right, as Pixels found out in in Season 3. This is my complete lack of FVC lore here becoming quite apparent. Nice and wide, just where you want to be, but obviously careful not to invalidate the lap. We will see some drivers pick up penalties for doing that in the race, I think. Oh! Jay Broughton has spun it at Cops, but looks to have kept it out of the wall. Meanwhile, FE Pixels, who we're just on board with, jumps down up to P4 with a 27.7. Hayden for the big win sends. I mean, it's possible Hayden could take the win here. Obviously, he just needs to not put it in the wall. Decent run through Cops, nice and wide. Car looked a bit iffy on that outside curve though, so we'll have to watch for that in the race. Of course, needs to find 3/10 to gain a position. But how much are they up by? Well, they've got 2.8 tenths here. It's not quite enough to find the position, I don't think, but that time could still come down. Also, we've got slow D numbers there through one of them. In the village, that is. Okay, well, we're just going to forget I ever said anything about an Aston Martin racing in Season 3. Hayden improves to a 28.509, 7 milliseconds behind MC Party in the Red Bull. Of course, home race, not what you want. At the moment, it's a home race for a lot of these drivers. Frisch for AlphaTauri. Pretty nice run through Cops. I think this might be their first soft run of the day. Because, of course, there is a Red Bull behind that they'll have to watch for of MC Party. Also, you can dip a tiny bit on the grass there, but you don't want to put too much on or the car will spin. So, nice big chunk of DRS. D numbers goes purple again at 27.0, 6/10 over Rise Verde in second. But can Frisch do something about that? Well, had some pretty decent pace for their first time here. Well, first time racing at Imola. They find 4.5 tenths, but the disparity is just so big from 7th up, it's hard to get anywhere. Rise Verde 81 on an outlap. Of course, if you have a specific driver that you'd like us to follow for this qualifying session, we can do in the quieter moments. With that being said, D numbers on for another, oh no, 2.1 seconds down. So just to clarify, an outlap is like your first lap out of the pit lane, so it's not a timed lap because it's slow. So it's the lap where you go out of the pit lane and then when you cross the line, that's your flying lap started. But D numbers might be safe to retire the car now. He's got 6/10. I mean, the Apex Miata has some pace, as we've seen. 27.8 at the moment. But to find 8/10 here is asking for a lot, I find. Odoro Tay late into the session for Alfa Romeo. They've got 4.5 minutes to get a lap done. At the moment, Hayden down in P8 is going to be struggling to improve. But we will stay on board with Rise Verde here, looking to take his first ever pole position in FVC2. I'm sure the Rise fan club will be very happy at the thought of Rise taking pole here today. Of course, there's no Spanish Grand Prix for the Spanish drivers, so unfortunately there's no real home Grand Prix to do this at, but Silverstone is as good as venue as any other. So, nice and big leather boxes in all the cars on screen at the moment. Harrison M, 2906, won the first 2 rounds of FVC2, hasn't done a lap yet on their well, so they've just started their timed lap. Odoro Tay has now poofed into the session. Anyway, Cops for Rise Verde. Looking good. Could maybe have gone a tiny bit wider. But it's looking like a very nice lap as we come into Magnussen Beckett. Someone has cut that corner by quite a lot. Just Keeps it nice and tidy in track limits. That's what you want to do. 10th and a half up. It's not quite enough to challenge D numbers for pole, but it's a nice barrier to Pixels. Very wide into the gravel, and bowls it back into the pit lane. I presume taking a fresh set of softs, dumping all the fuel for one last run. I would not have expected that to be an in-lap, but here we are. Anyway, Harrison's opener. Of course, halfway through Sector 2 as we come into Maggots and Beckett's. Of course, Silverstone is a notoriously bad track for tyre wear. That front left can be wear down quite quickly here, so that will be one to watch in the race. Of course, all drivers in the top 10 at least will have to start on the soft due to regulations. But we've got 2 minutes left. These final runs are going to have to start pretty quickly. A lot of drivers on outlaps. So, the final corner for Harrison M2906 goes P2 27.3 for Haas. I believe we're following up with a direct another lap. Of course, coming up on GG Hayden's AI, Haydenbot might be getting in the way of Harrison. He does! Harrison forced to go wide. Now, if I were Harrison, I would back off, save some battery for the next lap. But of course, we'll have to get round before that timer expires. Yeah, that's okay. Let's just slow that tiny bit. Oh, the Apex Miata has gone out. Where is that? Turn 1, I want to say. We will ride on board with whoever is... Right, Rise Verde will be... There's a good show of that. Oh, just off to the left. Left behind you. Hard to spot, but I think he's just got on the grass and dropped it. Oh, yep, car on the left there. You just see it despawn in the distance. Of course, Rise Verde 81. 45 seconds to get past. It's not enough time. Rise Verde can't set another lap. But Apex managed to claw his way to a 27.4 before an unfortunate exit. But Rise won't be able to get around in time. So your next car to cross the line, I believe, will be FE Pixels on a timed lap. No, even. It's D Numbers challenging Harrison for pole, and he might get one more lap in after this. Putting everything into that Mercedes. Nose time is short, 10 seconds if he wants to get another lap in after. 5 seconds. Run to the line. 3, 2, 1. Slows down to get one more lap as Rise Verde goes out of the session. Oh dear. That car is not in a good state. Lots of drivers retiring now, either on track or off track. So that is, well, almost qualifying over unless Harrison has an answer to D Numbers. These 3 tenths currently has 20 milliseconds. Really driving the wheels off that Haas. Bit of a shallower line as we exit the Maggots Beckett's complex. Touching the grass. Of course, will help with the rotation, but not optimal for braking. Touching the sausage curbs gets a bit of over rotation. Low mauling the sausage curb. Bit of a scruffy end, loses him 3.5 tenths in the end. GG Hayden, next car to the line, finishes in P4 with a 27.4. And Free, we just wait for them to re-enter their pit box and the thingy. Oh no, Saskia Mole starts a lap. 6 tenths up for FVC's first female pole sitter. So, present, that's still going to be P14. Finds a second in the end to go for a 29.9, 3 tenths off Saslimel for Mercedes. So, this has been qualifying for FVC2 at Silverstone. We will see you shortly for the race. Well, I don't know why I'm saying that, because the qualifying doesn't get edited in anymore, but, you know. Have fun with that, Pixels, when you see it, or anyone that watches the full VOD back. Anyway, your qualifying rundown. The numbers took pole for Mercedes, 3 tenths later for Haas, Harrison M2906, And just shy of a tenth after that, the Apex Miata for Williams. Fourth down was Hayden, Rise Verde, A. Williams, Pixels, Broughton, Dorado, and Adoro Tay to round out your top 10. From there down, Freesh, Party Owl, Saskia Mole, and Agent Dino for McLaren, with no time on the board after an unfortunate exit. So, as your formation lap gets underway here for FVC2 in Silverstone, the numbers took pole for Mercedes, followed by Harrison M and the Apex Miata to round out your top 3. From there, it was Hayden, Rise Verde, A. Williams, FV Pixels, JL Broughton, Eldorado, Adoro Tay, Freesh, McParty, Sursamal, Saskia Mole, and Agent Dino rounds out your grid for McLaren. So it is a 13-lap race today here. Apex and Pixels have jumped the queue. I'm not sure what they're up to, but they're up to something. So, on screen is your predicted pit stop strategy. I have no doubt we will see some deviation from that, especially maybe from drivers further down. Can't see tyres yet, I think. All on the soft. So that'll be... We're probably going to see a lot of soft mediums, although Rise Verde has been known to switch things up a bit, go for the hard, and to be fair to him, in Imola, it worked until like Imola Raleigh happened, but Rise Valley is one to watch. We can see some very interesting, fun strategy calls. That's a lot of cars. Your predicted pit stop strategy comes up once again, powered by AWS. Not actually, but it is in real life, apparently. Yeah, to be fair, Rice has some great pace on the hard tyre. Freach and MC Party have had a slight collision, but they will still be in the race. You've just told them your secrets, you've just told them his secrets in chat. Anyway, D Numbers comes through your final corner here and will head for his pole position slot. Just pulls in nice and gently. Agent Dino, your last car on the grid, pulls up in position. And Adoro Tay is the last car. So, jumping to the front of the race. 5 lights. We're away here in Silverstone for FVC2 in the first season. Agent Dino gets a drive-through penalty for jumping the start. Turn 1. Oh, lots of damage behind. Broughton is off, I know that. D Numbers holds the lead. Apex up into second. Harrison behind. But Rise Verde making moves into third. 3 wide behind, but up front, it's D Numbers and Apex Miata. Jay brought that very wide. That car has got no wing damage. Agent Dino has gone off, though. That car is in the race. We might see a safety car if it stays there for too long, though, but it's looking okay. Once again, I have cursed things at turn 1. Anyway, let's sell into the race a bit. So, you have D Numbers being hounded by Apex Miata. 3 tenths between them as we run through cops. The closest cars on track, almost. Whilst the Dirty Yet will be running rampant here through Maggots and Beckett's. Apex Miata doing well to avoid it. Has to go across the gravel, though. Now, Rise Verde looking to get on the back of Harrison. Of course, no DRS this early in the race, but we've got some nice moves there from Freesh in the background trying to get past A. Williams. Oh, my voice is already going. This is not a good start. So, at the end of lap 1, your top 5 is D Numbers, Apex Miata, Harrison, Rise Verde, and GGA Hayden. D Numbers goes purple with a 32-1 as expected. Although, Pixels on the back of GJ Hayden trying to get stuff done, but Freesh really on the back of A. Williams, goes to the inside. Has to back out, not quite left enough space there by the Alpine driver. Looking for a nice battle here for 4th, cooking up. So when DRS gets involved, this is going to get even dicier. Of course, top 4, well, loads of cars here that are really close. The number's starting to pull a tiny bit of a gap out on Apex, but it's not growing as much as you'd want this early. Of course, DRS gets activated next lap, I believe. And if you're within a second, you get it. And that is a huge advantage down the straights. Bumping on the social curb. Hey, Williams out at Cops! Just off to the right there. I thought we'd see that at some point today. No safety car has been deployed just yet, though. Harrison M on the back of the Apex Miata. Of course, the more they squabble, this will let Rise get involved, but I don't think Rise is going to be close enough to inherit DRS today. At least not yet. Of course, D Numbers now pulling that gap to the Apex Miata. D Numbers goes purple, 29.2. That was to be expected. Eldorado into the pit lane, so there's been contact with them. What has Sir Samal done? Sir Samal has managed to spin somewhere. Anyway, back to the front. Harrison on the back of the Apex Miata. As DRS goes to the outside. Of course, we can see some very good racing go on here. To the outside, gets it almost done, but Apex, very nice defense, squeezes him out wide. Lets Harrison come back to the inside, takes that wider line. He's going to try and get the better run back to Cops. Gets a better exit, but is it enough? Not quite. Harrison edges him out, but they're side by side into Cops. Pixels goes out. Apex backs out, runs very wide through Cops. I hope people have an instant replay of what happened to Pixels there. No guarantees. Apex really onto the grass. Apex eager to get back past Harrison, has the DRS, goes to the inside, is going to get it done way before the braking zone. Harrison then to the inside as we exit. It's very nice wheel-to-wheel racing here. Harrison P2 overturns him and Apex is round! Pauses to let those cars through, doesn't want to cause anything. Of course, their squabbling brings Rise Verde into the mix for P2. It's a nice run. Oh, into Harrison, loses the left side end plate of that front wing. We'll have to bring it into the pit lane, we think. Yeah, you can see that car is wounded, and that lets GJ Hayden come into the mix. But has Hayden just taken damage? Doesn't look like it. Freaked behind Harrison in AI, presume clipping that incident. Rise out very wide. Bird rejoin into the side of Hayden. This is getting very dicey, but that car is losing so much pace. But now look, this is letting Freesh go for moves on Hayden. Freesh to the inside as we now exit towards Cops. Freesh takes their Freesh on track for their first podium, but will have to keep Hayden behind. And I can tell you now, they will be hungry to push into Harrison, but they want to stay safe through Cops, dropping it into 7th. That's the safest route. Hayden dropping back massively. I think that car might have damage that we can't see. Doesn't look like it though. MC Party on the back of Rise Verde, because Rise Verde is just going so slowly now. Was Freesh just looking to get onto the back of Harrison. Just wants to sit here for a while, wait for the DRS, save some fuel, save some battery. As you can see on the steering wheel, that yellow bar just beneath the orange one. Looking pretty full. Rise Verde 81 into the pit lane with a broken wing. But Freesh, purple to the last sector. Very, very promising from the AlphaTauri driver. Of course, they are eager to get some points on the board after an unfortunate DNF from Nimmer. Harrison out wide. Freesh is going to get past, opens the DRS. There is nothing Harrison can do at this point. They'll have to fight it into Cops. Cersei 3-second time penalty for multiple track limits warnings. The AlphaTauri driver is passed. Almost bolts into the ground, but that's what you want to do. Just really push the limits with what you can get away with. We'll ride on board with Harrison M through Cops today. That car looking very slightly freaches around! Keeps it out of the wall though, but that's very unfortunate for them. But most importantly, that car is in the race. That is invaluable. Agent Dino and Eldorado having a bit of a squabble, trying to get P12, obviously not for points, but still worth the fight. Eldorado will be looking to go to the end on those mediums. Oh, contact! Agent Dino keeps it going. A lot of rubbing between these two. Just taps and taps. Oh! That will be a safety car most certainly. That's a huge bit of contact. Safety car is deployed. And it's too late for D-Numbers to get into the pit lane, but luckily he's got past the safety car. Calamity here at Silverstone for Agent Dino and Eldorado, but that will give a lot of drivers like Rise Verde, who haven't been so fortunate to get back in the fight. GG ahead and dives in, takes a new wing, so there was something up with that car. And I'm going to go and run and get some water because my voice is having trouble. Hello! Right, we are back with coverage. So, I think the Apex Miata has made a stop because Party has gotten past. Puts on the softs again though, so maybe not. Oh! Apex picks up a track limits penalty under safety car for running wide through cops. So, yeah, that's a really unfortunate start to your race. But you've still got 7 laps to make it up. Also, overtakes MC Party. And I think there are some shenanigans. Oh! The Apex Miata gets disqualified by the game. Not what he would have wanted at all. Gets shuffled to the very back of the pecking order. Lots of pit stops up front. The numbers comes in for the medium. I believe Harrison has as well. We just see him duck into his pit stall. MC Party's just left after getting some fresh tyres. Eldorado next in to take some mediums. Prix next for AlphaTauri, also takes mediums. We're going to see a lot of medium runners going to the end here, I think. Saskia Mole comes in for Aston Martin. Of course, Jay brought on some slightly older mediums. They could be risking coming in on the soft, getting a bit groovy with the strategy. Of course, regulations state you have to use 2 different tyre compounds. Of course, if you can get on the soft whilst everyone else is on that slower medium tyre, and that is what Jay Broughton has done, you are golden at that point. Now, I wonder if we'll see drivers like Sertimel and Eldorado do the same. Though Sertimel passes, opting for track position. Eldorado, P11. Not sure if we'll see a stop from them, but we will find out very, very shortly. The Apex Miata leaves the session after his disqualification. Eldorado stays out. So, jumping back to the front of the train was that very nice Aston Martin safety car here today. Lap 7 out of 13, and your pecking order is D-Numbers, Harrison, Party, Hayden, Dorothée, Prix, Rise, Sass, Al, Broughton, and Dorado. From what I can tell, Apex, you did a slightly illegal overtake under safety car, and then went off the track, and then the game didn't like it. Unfortunate. Of course, that might have worked for you in Season 4, but, you know, they're a different ballpark. I presume it was a glitch that they have now patched. Very, very, very unfortunate, but Williams are still in the points. Your goal of Williams points can still be satisfied. So I would expect to see the safety car in this lap. I think Dorado will be able to make it in time. Of course, this driver here, Jay Broughton, they're going to be very, very fast off this safety car restart. Soft tyres against mediums. Huge tyre advantage, and they're a pretty pacey driver. They always took it in the season opener at Portimao. Water. So, it is lap 8 out of 13 here at Silverstone. Yeah, Jay Broughton will be here, no problem. Of course, elects to stay out on the medium. We're only going to get 4 or 5 laps of racing here today. Well, to the end at least. Anyway, I think we all know what tyre everyone's on, and we all know the situation with Broughton. So I don't think there's any point in keeping this tyre detail up. Well, for those of you interested, those are the position changes since the start of the race. Was MC Party your biggest winner, up 9 places. The Apex Miata your biggest loser, down 12. So we should get the message of the safety car coming in any time now. And just look at all the cars behind. Just if we hide the HUD for a moment, that's a lot of cars. Race control says safety car in this lap. So here we go. You will be restarting the race on lap 9 out of 13. D-Numbers and Harrison M. A lot to play for. Championship rivals. Of course, Harrison with the lead, but they won't want to let D-Numbers start closing. Because that momentum is hard to take. When does D-Numbers go? D-Numbers is gone! Tries to pull as big as a gap on Harrison as possible. Of course, no overtaking to the green flag, but that has now flown. DJ Hayden straight away on the back of MC Party. MC Party very wide through turn 1, slow through turn 2. DJ Hayden just gets it done nice and quickly. Freach looking to get a door rotate, but it's not going to work for them. Of course, MC Party will be looking to get back at Hayden, but further ahead, Harrison, D-Numbers. They've both got work to do. Freach really on the back of Doro, though. You know, they've got some good opportunity here. First out falls to the back, but Harrison is closing on D-Numbers as we run into cops. Also, hopefully no big instances as we restart the racing here. Doesn't look like it so far. I think we're all through cleanly. The Maggots and Beckett's complex, Harrison really wrangling the car through. He's getting there with it. Purple Sector 2, using those fresh mediums, enjoying them. Really getting close to the back of the numbers, who is running out of batteries, you can tell by that blinking ring light. Though that DRS is starting to affect the hards, you can see the understeer creeping in, you can see it oversteering when he gets on the power. While further back, Adoro on the back of Party. And Eldorado has fallen to the back. I think there may have been an unfortunate spin there. Freach gets past Adoro Tay into turn 1. They're side by side going into turn 2, but Freach gets the inside. Freach lead. Well, Freach doesn't lead, but Freach gets up into P5. Will be wanting to push back for a podium. And now it's whether it's possible. And I think it is. 3 laps to do it. Yellows in Sector 1. Eldorado has done a spin. Of course, D-Numbers going to be wanting to really hang on to the win. He wants to be doing everything in his power. Although Eldorado is coming... Sorry, not Eldorado. Adoro Tay is coming back towards Freach. Falls off a bit through that last corner, though. D Numbers managing that gap to Harrison, because Harrison is going to have DRS and it gets turned on, and that's when things will get extremely dicey. Will we see contact? Of course, Harrison has won here before, I believe, winning the Anniversary Grand Prix in Season 4. Freach almost on the back of MC Party now. Freach up the inside of MC Party. They're side by side, so we'll have to leave some space. Leaves just enough. Harrison goes purple. Well, D Numbers went purple, then Harrison went purple. With Freach and Party side by side out of the final corner. Broughton goes purple. Sassy's round. Turn 1. Round the outside. A stellar overtake from Freach. Of course, while Thales score behind, that lets Freach just move on up the road. Of course, Harrison going to be looking to use DRS now, as it's been re-enabled, I believe. Yes, I believe for how much that car closed, it was re-enabled. I'm very happy with the helicopter shot. Just really getting up to the back of D Numbers now. 3/10. 4.5. That's falling now, though, back down to 3.5. It's going to dip below 3/10 for the first time since the safety car restart. They're running towards each other, towards cops. A tenth between them, just to manage the dirty air. Don't spin. Keeps it in 8th, being really quite aggressive. Of course, D Numbers completely out of battery. That will let Harrison mount a very nice attack. Harrison has more battery play. More DRS comes in. Sussmouth has binned it through cops. Harrison takes the lead up the inside. Harrison M, your championship leader, is now leading in his home Grand Prix. Harrison M goes purple, 28-4, currently in for a good haul of 26 points. Rose Verde's had to duck in again, I presume contact further down the field. What's D Numbers? He doesn't want to let Harrison win. He doesn't want to let Harrison extend the gap again. It's been a very good race, but now it's his turn to come back with the DRS. We're on board with Harrison, well, so we're going to change it back to D Numbers. On board with D Numbers. It's not going to happen as they run towards cops. I think Harrison just taking advantage of those mediums more. D Numbers purple to the middle sector now. Harrison gets a slightly worse run as we run towards cops. Not going to be close enough though, because they're going to have to be very careful together. That car is looking very, very pointed from Harrison, but the rear is starting to hang out a little bit. There are Town MC Party further down the field as they run through cops. They've got through cleanly, which is very good for them. The numbers now, DRS on Harrison. Hayden, 3-second time penalty, runs wide. As things stand, Freach is on for the podium. As D Numbers gets back on the inside of Harrison, gets the lead back, but Harrison might try and fight, he doesn't, just hangs back, wants to stay behind for the DRS, I'd say. As we are now rounding onto the final lap here in Silverstone. Freach and Broughton are now going to start fighting. That may let Hayden keep a podium. Broughton needs to be tactical here. Broughton can still get P4, but he's not going to be happy with that. He's going to want to overtake Freach. But we're not watching that battle because it's a battle for the lead, and the lead has to take precedent. So, Harrison will be in the DRS. The letterbox in that wing will be open, even though we can't see it through the hot exhaust fumes of the Mercedes. He is closing, putting everything into that Haas. Of course, D Numbers has managed to regenerate a bit of battery. I don't know if Harrison still has a bit, but Harrison has a lot more battery to work with. Run to cops. Jay Broughton gets past Freach now. Very pointy from the Mercedes. The Haas is on the back. 5/10 separate them on the final lap as we come towards the third and final sector of this race. 2.5 tenths. Harrison is behind. This is going to come down to the absolute wire. The gap is closing. Closing even for DRS. 2 tenths. Harrison pulls to the inside. Harrison goes past on the inside. Unless D Numbers will go for a late move, this is Harrison's race to win. Penultimate corner now. Last corner, Harrison M 2906 wins at Silverstone for round 4 of FVC2, followed by D numbers. Hayden is next to the line. But Freach back into P4. They're racing with MC Pass. They're racing with Jay Broughton. Freach takes P3 from Jay Broughton by 18 milliseconds. Of course, that demotes Hayden down to P5 because of that 3-second time penalty. Dorothea next, followed by Party. Next across the line will be Eldorado 2009. It's worth noting the half a tenth gap between Adoro and Party. Saskia Mole will be next around to the line, and then it is going to be Rise Verde and Sir Slimal. What a race for the lead here in Silverstone. I am very excited to see where this battle leads on. Well, this bit isn't going to be in the highlights, so this is the talky bit. Who wants a post-race interview? Right, let me do split screen view. Apex does not want a post-race interview. There may be some penalties to stewards, so Freach driver of the day, I completely agree with that. It's a great performance from them. Yeah, Harrison does win this a lot. Saskia got points! I didn't even see that! Sas got points for the first time in FVC2! So, Harrison M 2906 wins after a very exciting British Grand Prix. Obviously, that was for Haas. Anyway, to round out your podium, it's D numbers for the Mercedes and Freach for AlphaTauri, their first ever podium on the F1 side of FVC. From there down, it was Broughton, Hayden, Adorote, MC Party, Eldorado, and Saskia Mole in P9, her first ever point in FVC2. Rise Verde rounded out your top 10, and from 11th down, it was Owl, Miata, Dino, Pixels, and A. Williams. We will see you next time in Spa for round 5 of FVC2.